Everybody, and welcome back to yet another fun and exciting intermediate math class. In today's lesson, we're going to be jumping into chapter number 9. We're cruising through this book, so keep on going. You're doing great. We are on page 344. Page 344. In today's lesson, we're going to be talking about an introduction to graphing. In the video, I kind of jumped from an older video that I've recorded to then a current video, so just hang in there. But all of the information that you need from this chapter is in the video, so let's jump into it. So let's kind of do some vocabulary real quick before we kind of jump into kind of how to do this. So what is the Cartesian plane? The Cartesian plane, it's like it's a plane. It's a piece of paper, right? So it's a flat surface. It's two-dimensional. Okay, so it's not three-dimensional like we talked about, like a sphere and a box and a cone. Those are three-dimensional shapes, right? A plane is two-dimensional. So you have a length and a width, an up and a down, and a left and a right. That's what we're dealing with. And these are two number lines on a piece of paper. One number line goes left and right. One number line goes up and down. And it says here that they cross at a perpendicular, so that makes 90 degree. These are, again, words that we've already talked about back in the last semester, so you should remember them. But they intersect at a point called origin. So we're going to talk about what does that word right there mean. What is origin? So origin is right down here. You can skip down just a little bit. We'll jump down there. The origin point is where they cross. So where these two perpendicular lines cross, where the intersection point, that is called origin. So you need to know that word origin. All right, now the way that we label origin, you'll see down here, is with 0, 0. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means that it's 0 on the one line, on the one that goes left and right, and it's also 0 on the number line that goes up and down. It's at 0 on both number lines. Okay, these number lines are actually called axes. A-X-E-E-Z. You'll see that's the way that we pronounce it, axes. Now, so this kind of looks more like axes, but it's not axes, it's axes. All right, and it's the plural form of the word down here, axis, the axis. If you know from science class, maybe, the world spins, the earth spins on an axis. In other words, it's like a straight line that goes through the center of the earth, and it just spins on that line. And the ball, the earth, rotates around that straight line. That's called an axis. All right, well, in the Cartesian plane, we have two different axes. The one is called the x-axis, and that is the horizontal. What does horizontal mean? Well, horizontal, I'll kind of scroll down here just a little bit. Horizontal basically means that it goes this way. Okay, that's like the sun comes up over the horizon. A horizontal line is kind of one of these right and left type lines. So we'll go ahead and draw this right here. And we're going to call this is the x-axis. Okay, so that one's the x. Now, the next one is called the y-axis right here. And this one is a vertical line. So we need to come back down here. And now we need to draw a line that's vertical. Vertical goes up and down. Okay, so this line is going to be called the y. All right, so we have an x line. So this is the x line. Remember, that one goes horizontally. And then we have a y line, and that one goes up and down. That one goes vertically. Okay, so this, when I draw something like this, you should be seeing what we call a Cartesian plane. Okay, all right, now it says, notice I said earlier that the origin point right here, we label it at 0, 0. So where's origin? Origin, go back up here. Origin is where they intersect. So where do these two lines cross? They cross right here. This point right here is 0, 0. That's how we write it. And it's called origin. Okay, so origin. Now, when we look at that, this maybe is just a little bit different for you right here. You've never seen this before right here, okay? So what is that? Well, this is called, if you go down here, this is called ordered pairs. All right, so what's an ordered pair? An ordered pair is an X and a Y, what we call coordinate. Okay, a coordinate is like a point, like on a map or something like that. So the X and the Y coordinate. Now, check this out. It says the first number is the X and the second number is the Y. Okay, so if we come back up here to our origin, our 0, 0, all right, just watch that. You can make this guy like a smiley face, right? That's pretty easy smiley face right there. I like that. But anyways, okay, forget I did that. All right. So what we would do is we'd say, okay, this first one is the X, and then the second one is the Y. So when you're writing coordinate points, it goes X, comma, Y. Okay. Now, X can be anything. Now, check this out. So, again, remember, this is a number line, right? So, we go, this is 0. This spot right here is 0. So, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, just like a number line. Okay. So, we could number that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now, it goes the same on the negative side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And these are all negative. -1, -2, -3, -4, okay, and so on. So that's the X. Again, this is the X-axis. This one goes horizontally. Now, we also have the Y. So again, it's almost like you could kind of tilt your head just a little bit and look at it and say, okay, that makes sense. But again, we have a number line. And the number line, when you go to the up, or you go kind of this way, up, these are positive going up. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And then going down, we're going to have the negative values. So -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on. Down is going to be negative. Up is going to be positive. So we could write it like this. We could write this is positive out here, right? This is positive up here. This is negative going to the left. And this would be negative down here going down, okay? So over here, positive. Over here, right, the negative. So just kind of keep that in mind. I'm going to come back to that concept in just a second, but I kind of want to show you some other things first, kind of along that number line, and show you how to put these coordinate points onto our number line. So notice what I said right here. These values, these coordinate points, they measure the distance a point is away from 0, just like we did on the number line, right? So if I have a coordinate point over here, let's say it's right here, okay? So how many spots, how many spaces away from 0 is that? Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see that I'm at the 5. So I'm 5 spaces away from 0. Now check this out. I could be 5 spaces away from 0, but going the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I'm -5 spaces from 0 because I'm going to the negative side, the left side. This would be positive to the right, left would be negative. Same thing with up and down. If I'm up here, I'm 5 spaces away from 0. If I'm down here, I'm -5 spaces away from 0. All right, let's go down and look at one of these in on the Cartesian plane. All right, here we are on the Cartesian plane, and let's say that I have something like 3, 4. All right, this is the spot. This is the number that I want to graph onto my Cartesian plane. You have to remember a couple things. The first thing to remember is that the 3 is the X and the 4 is the Y. So we're going to have X, Y, right? So the 3 is on the X and the 4 is on the Y. So what does that mean? Well, here's what it means. We're going to come over, we're going to count over 3 spots on the X. Remember, this is the X and this is the Y. So we're going to count over 1. We start at origin. Origin's right here in the middle, right? 0, 0. So we go, let me change colors here. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Why did we go 3 spots? Because our x is 3. Now we're going to go up 4. Why up? Because this is our y line, and 4 is positive, so we're going to go up. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And our point is going to be right here. So our point is going to be at, I'll do it one more time. So 1, 2, 3. All right, and then we're going up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. Okay, so that's the way that you count that out when you're graphing these coordinate points. Now let's do another one. Let's do one with maybe a negative in it. So we'll come over here and we'll do, let's just do negative 3, 4. Negative 3, comma 4, right? So negative 3, comma 4. And I'll change this color. We'll do this one in green. Okay, so we'll come over here and we'll go negative 3. 1, 2, 3, and we're still going up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so our point's going to be right there. All right, we'll do the same thing. We'll come down here and we'll do another one. Let's do negative 3, negative 4. Negative 3, negative 4. Change the color again. We'll go purple on this one. Negative 3. 1, 2, 3 to the negative side. Don't forget that's negative. And that's positive. Now look, our 4 is also negative, so we're going to go down 4. Well, you can't really see what I wrote there, but yes, oh, there it is. All right, so negative 3, 4. Okay, negative 3, negative 4. So we're also going to go down negative 4. So we're going to go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's our point right there again. And we're just kind of going around the thing, just doing kind of putting in different places based on what the positive and negative signs are telling us here. Okay, let's do one more. I'll move this one over here and we'll do a positive 3, negative 4. Let's try that one. Let's see where that one lands. I will put this one in yellow. So we're going positive 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going negative 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to land right there. Okay. Now, if you notice, each one of these spaces, and you can kind of see that one, I'll move that one back up. Each one of these is a little bit different. Okay. In other words, notice that when they were both positive, it gave us something here in this, what's called quadrant. Okay, I don't have the word written down, but the word is in your book on page 286. This is called a quadrant. All right, the next one had a negative and a positive. So look, negative and then a positive. And so that one was in this quadrant. Okay, and then we had another one and so on. These quadrants, let me kind of just go around it for you. I'll put this in white. So this is quadrant 1. And in quadrant 1, x is positive and y is positive. In quadrant 1, it's positive, positive. Okay. Then we come over here to quadrant number 2. And in quadrant 2, look, x is negative. So we have a negative and a positive. The y is still positive. Quadrant 2 is negative, positive. Here we are in quadrant 3 down here. And notice that we have a negative, negative for our signs here. So it's going to be a negative, negative. Okay. And then here in quadrant number 4, notice we have a positive, negative. Okay. So that one's going to be positive, negative. And that puts it in quadrant number 4. Make sure that you memorize those quadrants. It's very important that you know, because they're going to ask you questions like, okay, 3, 4, what quadrant does that fall in? And you'll need to know, oh, that's quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. And remember how they go around. So they start here in this right, upper right quadrant, and it kind of goes what's called counterclockwise, right? It kind of goes backwards. Like the clock goes a certain way, well, this goes the opposite way that a clock goes. All right, so it goes counterclockwise. Okay. All right, so let's look at one more thing here from this chapter. This is going to be on page 346 in your book, 346. Here we're going to be talking about what's called the intercept. So we have the y-intercept. Okay, what does the word intercept mean? It means to cross. If you intercept something or intersect something, it's when you cross over it. Okay, so we're going to cross over the y line. If you look here, this intercept from the y is right here. It's where we cross over the y line. So what would that point be? That would be point, again, remember the x goes first, so our points are like this, x, comma, well, I'll write this over here. So it's x, comma, y. That's how we do the y-intercept. That's how we do all points. So the x is the left and right, so we don't go at all left and right, okay? It's straight on the y line, so our x is going to be 0, and our y is going to be 1, 2. So we went up 2 spots. Our y is 2. So in this case, our y-intercept is 0, 2. Then we need to do the x-intercept. I'll just abbreviate it there so I don't run out of room. The x-intercept. Remember, it's always written the same. It's written as x, comma, y. All coordinate points are written as x, comma, y. So how many spots did we go over on the x? 1, 2, 3. There's our spot. And we don't go up on the y at all. It's not up or down. So it's going to be 3 for our x and 0 for our y. And that would be what's called the x-intercept, or that's where our graph, our line, crosses the x line. Okay? So 0, 2 for the y-intercept and 3, 0 for the x-intercept. All right, well, that's all I have for you in this lesson. Hopefully you learned something there. If you missed anything, make sure you scroll it back, watch it again, practice this stuff. There's a lot of good practice there in your book, so make sure that you're working through this. The more you practice it, the better you're going to get. All right, that's all I've got for you. We'll see you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.